Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Ultimate Minecraft Server Series. I'm your host, SamLander34. Today we're going to be talking about additional plugins that are going to enhance the user experience of our server. But before we get into it, we've got another question from one of our viewers. Ahan asks, I wonder if creating a server is free, and does the server online 24/7? I think what he's asking is creating a server free, and will the server stay on 24/7? So yes, creating a server in this manner is free. The server will be online so long as you keep the console window open. So if your computer goes to sleep or you turn your computer off, then obviously the console is going to close and the game's going to shut off. So if you want your game server to stay on 24/7, you have to leave it open. Otherwise, you'd have to purchase Minecraft hosting for a nominal fee. That way you could ensure that your server stays up 24/7. But yes, it is free to install your server as shown in the first episode. And yes, it is possible to keep it on 24/7. It just requires keeping your computer on and the console window open. I hope that answers your question. So the purpose of this episode is talking about plugins that are going to enhance the experience. Things like kits. When a player comes on and they want to have something to start with, a starter kit will allow them to have some basic essentials like food and maybe a claim tool and stuff like that. So we're going to need a plugin to make that work. I've gone ahead and purchased CMI, which is what I call a mega plugin because it has so many features. We're going to be playing around with that and seeing what we can do to make the server really fun. Are you ready to go? Let's do it.
You have an idea to make Minecraft better. Are you ready? Let's build it.
So in the last episode, we were dealing with permissions, and you'll notice that we were dealing with a default group. I'm not happy with having a default group. Usually when a person comes in, they should be member to start out with. So let's create a new group called member. To do that, we're going to go /luckperms. We're going to do create group member. Okay, member was successfully created. Now we need to add the permissions from the default group to group member. So let's take a look using luckperms group default permission info to see what we have in there so far. You'll notice that there's a kit or cmi.kit.starter. That's going to be for later on in this video. We're going to create a starter kit for new players entering the server such that they have some leather armor, a pickaxe, a claim tool, things that are going to help them get them started, like some food, that kind of stuff. So we need to add these permissions into member. So to do that, we're going to use luckperms, and we're going to say group member permission set cmi.kit.starter permission set grief prevention claims trapped and spawn. So that should do for our member class. And now we need to configure it so that any users coming in on the default will automatically be remapped to member, and we'll have those permissions. So to do that, we need to configure our config menu for lucky permissions. And so we need to go into our server folder, and we need to go into plugins, luck permissions, go into our config, and what we're looking for is default assignments. Okay, there we go. So what we're going to say is my default rule if has true group.default take group.default. Now you'll notice I'm not doing tabs in this file. That's because it's a .yml file. .yml or YAML files do not like tabs. Always use spaces, never use tabs. You will find that your plugins will bug right out if you use tabs, so always use spaces. Okay, so we're going to take group default and we're going to give group.member. Okay, and then we are going to set primary group member. That should do it. So we're following this format. Perfect. So if they're group.default, it's going to take their default, give them member, and set the primary group to member. So we're going to save. We're going to go back into our server console, stop the server, and reload it. Okay, the server's coming back up now, so we're going to head back in. All right, we're going to see if our rule's working now. I'm going to do /plugins just to make sure that it's working. We still have to deal with Band Manager, but we can see that all of the rest of our plugins are working great. I've added CMI and I've added Vault, and you get those from the Spigot page, just like all the other plugins. Again, really easy to download. You do have to pay for the CMI plugin. Highly worthwhile. I recommend it. And it also has a custom Vault implementation as a dependency for CMI, so make sure you grab their copy of Vault, not the default one that's on the Spigot store. Okay, so now we're going to test to see if our default group assignment is working. So to do that, we're going to go into Luck Perms. We're going to say user this time, and we're going to say Samlander34, and we're going to get info about that. So as you can see, group member, parent groups member. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to log in as another user and see if that worked for them as well. So I'm going to use my son's account, DeathPlayer1000. All right. And we are going to see if his has been fixed as well. So we're going to say DeathPlayer1000 info. Perfect. So he's in the member group, parent member group. Great. So now that I've got CMI installed and I've got the permissions all set up and I've created the member group, now it's time to create a starter kit. You saw the permission because I was playing around with it a little bit earlier, but I'll show you exactly what I did. So under CMI, it has a kit editor, and if you type CMI kit editor, you'll see that you can actually access all of your kits using a lovely advanced GUI. I'm just going to delete the starter kit and we'll start again here. So first things first, unlike Essentials where you'd have to enter your line by line in the configuration to set up all your kits, it's so much easier in CMI. All you have to do is go into creative mode, get all of the items you want to add in the kit, and then just put them in your inventory. So what I'm going to do here is go into creative, and I'm going to type leather because I want all of my new users to have a fresh leather set of armor when they come in. I want them to have a stone pickaxe. I want them to have a stone axe, and they should have some food. So maybe some cooked meat of some kind, like cooked chicken. And we'll give them a stack of that just so they've got a really good chance to start out in the wild without starving to death. So I think this is a really good kit. I think that ought to do it. So we're going to leave here with our inventory, and we are going to go back into CMI kit editor, and we're going to click the little green add symbol here, and we're going to call our kit starter. Now this is useful for taking all of these items and bringing them up here, and if you use the right mouse button, it'll include the armors, and you can just put these in here, so when they do the kit, it will actually dress them with the kit, which is a really nice touch. Now we want to go into settings, and here's where you can set various things to do with the kit. So for example, how long is it going to take? So if you hold down your shift button when you do this, it speeds it up by 10, which is good. A little more. Oh, too far. So we're going to go forward. Okay. Perfect. 12 hours. Okay, so now they'll have to wait 12 hours between each use. You can design the kit so that the icon that it shows in the GUI, when it's available, when it's not available, I just use the same icon for brevity. You can actually charge for a kit, which is useful if you're on a high economy survival. You can use that to kind of take some money out of the economy, which is great. You can also charge experience for kits. You can change this display name and its permission name. So earlier on you saw me with the permission node of cmi.kits.starter. That's where this comes into play. By giving them that permission, it gives them access to this kit.
Now conditions is kind of neat. You can make sure that they have like a certain amount of money, or they have whatever. We'll get into that in another video when we get a little more deep into this. Commands is really cool because you can do things like, for example, say I want to heal the player. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on new, the little green add new button, and we can put in any command in here. So I'm going to say CMI heal username. So not only are they going to get a kit, they're also going to get a free heal, which is awesome. Okay, so now that we've got that, let's go back into the kit editor by clicking on starter, and then settings. So we've got that. Let's set a description. We're going to click the little green button under description and say the starter kit, perfect to start your adventure. Okay, perfect. So let's go back into the kit starter. So we're going back into kit starter. Okay. Now this is important here. I missed this the first time I came through here, but if you don't click this button and change it to enabled, then this kit is not going to show up for the other user. So you already saw me assign the cmi.kits.starter for the member group. We're going to test that by going into the other game and doing CMI kit. There we go. As you can see, I've got the starter kit. I was doing some more testing and gave the newbie command, and I'm going to get rid of that now. So I'm going to do luck perms group member permission unset, and I don't want cmi.kits.newbie in there. Member does not have that, so I must have left that in default. So group default does not have newbie. Well, that's interesting. I know I was doing testing earlier. See, even a seasoned owner is going to have problems like this. So you got to be aware of all of the little kind of minutia of configuring plugins and settings. It's very tedious work, but it's awesome when it all works together. So I need to find out why Death Player is able to access that group. So I think it's probably a user permission that I set for him. So I'm going to say permission unset cmi.kit.newbie. So here's a good debug tool. I'm going to check luck perms to check Death Player cmi.kit.newbie to find out where he's getting that permission from. And he does have that permission check result on user Death Player 1000 for permission CMI kit newbie is true. But why is the $1 million question. So let's check the permissions of the groups just to double check. This is all par and par. You're going to have to debug scripts and plugins all the time. These bugs pop up all the time. So be prepared. Okay, so luck perms, group, default, permission, info. Okay, so default's got CMI kit starter, doesn't have newbie. Let's try that again with member. Aha, there it is. So we're going to unset cmi.kit.newbie, and we don't need .get in there either. Go back to our test player and do kits, and there it is. That's the only kit we wanted. It's got a description, the cooldown, left to use, right to preview. Fantastic, works great. Good. Now, kits is not a command in the game. I used CMI's alias editor, CMI alias editor, to add that in. So if I click there, it's gone. So once I've deleted the alias, if my user tries to do kits again, it's just not going to work, right? So they would have to do CMI kit in order for that interface to come up. Most people are used to /kits to see what kits they have available. So we're going to add an alias to do that. We go CMI alias editor, and we're going to do we're going to hit the little add button, enter the new alias. So the new alias is kits, and it It does not require a custom permission, but we do need to add the command. So we're going to click the plus sign, and then we're going to enter the new command, which is CMI kit, and that's it. When we go back to the test player and they do /kits, they get the equivalent of /CMI kit. That's how you set up an alias. It just kind of shows you the power of CMI. So now when our players come in, they're going to be able to claim, they're going to be able to do their starter kit, and also their experience in the game has been enhanced because now they've got a fresh new tab list. And yeah, so I'm going to be going through CMI and seeing what other little goodies I can add in here to improve the experience. But in the meantime, I think that's good for now. We've learned about kits, we've learned about CMI, we've learned about aliases, and we've learned how to edit a YAML config file. In our next video, we're going to take a look at our plugins that are malfunctioning and get them working properly again. As well, we're going to go around our spawn and make it a little more appealing and create player plots for in-game shops and whatever else the players want to do with them. I hope you had a good time today and learned something. In the meantime, this is SamLander34 signing off.